All right, welcome everyone to the Black View. I am Omari Jahi. I'm the producer of the show. Our host, Miss Sherry Soul, couldn't be with us this evening, but I'm just going to sit in for her for the day. But we're going to get it in. We're going to get it in anyway. You know, even though Sherry's not here, and we have Sister Ebony that's going to be taking Minister Taharka's place because he won't be here. And we have Minister Raheem, a.k.a. the sax preacher, who's going to be with us. He's normally with us. And we have my cousin. This is my girl here.
Do I have to turn around to the camera?
You don't have to. I mean, because you have the camera already. You know?
Find yourself, girl. Find yourself.
My cousin, Miss Brenda Robinson. And we're going to, this whole episode today is going to be surrounding the mayoral election 2023. You know, Vallis as well as Brandon Johnson are in a runoff to see who's going to be the mayor of the city of Chicago. So, I already know Ebony Fool, so I ain't going to start with her. She might not stop it. So, what do you all think about this runoff? I can tell you what I think. I'll start it. How about that? I'll tell you what I think.
Well,
I think that I don't know Brandon Johnson, but I do know Vallis. I know what Vallis intends to do when he gets in, and I don't think it's good for us as black people. I don't think it's going to be good for Hispanics, but it's going to be good for some black people. It's going to be good for some Hispanics because we got people that have, like in this movie that y'all got to see this movie too. It's called They Live. Check it out. In the movie, there was a guy that said, "I just want to be on the winning team."
that's right.
So now we have Jesse White. I guess he think he on the winning team because he picked Vallis to be the mayor.
He just sit his butt down somewhere. Didn't he retire?
We haven't gotten to you yet, Ebony. And so, in my opinion, I think Brandon Johnson is better for black people. I'm black. I'm sorry. And so when I vote, I'm gonna vote what's gonna be best in my best interest and the best interests of my people. And so I already know Vallis saying, but that's not saying that Brandon Johnson is the great black hope. It's not saying that. But I'm just saying that I already know what I'm going to get with Vallis, and I'm scared as hell of what that's going to look like. I'd rather deal with Brandon Johnson. What do you think?
Well, as you all know, I don't really care much about politics. And I remember when Barack Obama was running for president, and I was at a church where the minister asked me, "Will you vote for him just because he's black?" And I immediately said, "Yeah, just because he's black."
I'll give you a high five.
Because I don't like politics anyway, and kind of like you said, because I don't never want to be all on board with what you say.
Of course.
So
Because
kind
that's
of
my
like
lovely
you said.
cousin. She hates, agree with me.
But so yeah, I would vote for blacks because they're black and I'm black. But with Brandon Johnson, I just don't, like you said too, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him, never heard much about him. Then I read that he was something else.
Commissioner. Yeah.
Never knew that.
He was commissioner.
The only thing that spiked my interest really in him, and not that I'm not interested in him, I pray that he will be a black man for black people, and
And everybody else too.
Ain't no
you
prejudice,
know?
right?
Just put us up in front,
right,
like everybody else do.
Right. But the only thing that really spiked my interest in him was that he went to Westinghouse, and I'm a Westinghouse alumni.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
God bless you.
life. So
God bless you.
So that made me look a little bit more into him. I watched a little bit of this tape on him. And when the lady was asking him some questions, he was evading some things. And me, with being a single black mom and a man evading things, I was like, yeah. So, yeah, we're going to go away from that and let somebody else say something.
Well, no.
before I
What
get
was he
stuck.
evading? Let's throw it out there.
When they asked about the police thing, I guess, I don't know, I hear everybody
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about defunding the police, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And I don't think he ever said that word. But in the place of that he was saying things he was going to do, he kept ignoring the question about the police specifically. But he had all these things that he wants to do. And I work for the Chicago public school system. And some of the things he was saying, they're things that need to be a reality. I just wonder how he gonna do that. And he didn't say much. He talked about mental health, but who closed the mental health? Did somebody just
They
close
closed them
that
all
off?
down.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they
shut them
did.
Yeah, they shut that down.
Yes, they
That
did.
was Todd Stroger. Thank you.
I mean,
We
whoever
didn't
did
say
it.
him. We say
Right.
someone
Whoever did,
Somebody
closed
said
them
it.
down.
He say, where are the forces that can stop closures? Why nobody knew that closing down mental health places was not a good idea?
That's actually, so it's not that nobody knew. They already knew what was going to happen before they closed it out. So I have been a community organizer for a long time. I was a part of a campaign to keep the mental health clinics open back when the closures were first proposed.
Okay.
Everybody, all the data and stuff was there. What would happen if they closed all the mental health clinics? And since this is the Black View, the only mental health clinics I'm talking about is the ones that were in the Black communities that Black people had direct access to. They knew what would happen.
Why am I not surprised?
They did it on purpose. It was already predicted that if you close these mental health clinics, then the primary provider of mental health services will be what? The Cook County Jail. And where are
That's
we right
right.
now in 2023? That the biggest provider of mental health services here in Chicago is what? The Cook County Jail.
Cook County Jail. They even made a segment of the Cook County Jail for mental health.
And they knew this.
Yes. Well, I'll answer the other thing.
Yes, sir.
Dealing with us as a people, Black people, I've noticed in the past that every time we get in office, any level of leadership, that we are fairer than fair. And so when it comes to being someone for all the people, you pick a Black person. That can be a good thing, and that can be a bad thing. When Harold Washington got in office, he was so fair. He was so fair, he didn't do like the people before him. Get rid of the whole staff of the people who was running it before,
Yeah, Jane Burns.
and then bring in some new people. He kept some of Jane's people, added some new people. That's the worst thing you could do because we so fair, including Obama. Fairer than fair, fairer than fair. But every time a white person got in or any other nationality got in, they dealt with their people first. They all practice a race-first philosophy. The only group of people who don't is Black people. And we need to wake up. That's not racist. It's what it is. Survival of the fittest. And it's another thing. I forgot that other saying dealing with self-preservation. What is it called? Self-preservation is the first law
First
Law
law
of nature.
of nature. Self-preservation. So I applaud every nationality that when they get in, they want to do for their people first and do for everybody else second. Black people get in, is do for everybody else first and save us for last, whatever's left. Why? Because we keep trying to kiss up to the Vallis people. And so if we don't get out of that, we ain't going nowhere. Harold Washington, 30-something years ago, he had beat, what's her name, Jane Byrne, in the primary. And so it was just him as a Democrat and Bernard Epton as a Republican. Every white person that was a Democrat in City Hall and in politics jumped ship and became a Republican for that time in order to keep Harold Washington from winning. Black brothers and sisters, don't you know your history? What role do you keep trying to play? When someone keep playing out a role for us in front of our face every day almost, but we still keep talking about you want a piece of the pie. You want a slice of the cake. Now they done dwindled it all the way down to crumbs, and you even accept that now. Wake up.
But okay, I guess we could say that's our introductory statements or whatever.
Yes.
But who is best for the city of Chicago? Vallis says that he wants to keep the public schools open 7 days a week.
I think that Brother Johnson would be the best because of what I just articulated. If you look at Vallis,
but
he's
now
not
Brenda
going to
said-
be fair.
But Brenda said he was avoiding the issue about the police.
Well, that's just one issue.
What issue?
That's not the whole issue. I'll tell you why he avoided I think why he avoided. Yeah, it's what I think. It's not what I know. It's an allegation. I think he avoided the issue because they wanted to just, you know how you can make, if you say one word, you see, the media can take it and splice it and make it say something else and they'll run with it. And so, yes, I believe he did say that at a time when this thing about killing and police brutality was happening. And he probably did as a citizen because he only been commissioner this rip when he beat this other guy out. So he wasn't commissioner for a long time. So he was an average citizen, teacher and all. So he probably was on the side of saying defund the police. I'm on it now, defund the hell out of them. If you want to know my thing. And then if I go run for office 10 years later, somebody gonna say, he said defund the police. Well, he should dodge it because they waiting on any word for him to say to take it and run with it. And one small slip, he can lose the election. So I would dodge it too.
Well, I would also say, well, answering your question, for me, there is no question. I believe that Brandon Johnson is the best person for the job. We talk about, well, there's the saying, what is it? Let people show you how they are and believe them.
And if they show you,
So the thing
who they
about
are,
Paul
believe
Vallis, Paul Vallis already showed us how he get down when he was CEO of public schools here in Chicago, when he was firing all the black principals, when he was destroying the safety nets inside of black schools. He did that unapologetically and without reason. He did that from throughout his tenure. I was actually in Chicago public schools when he was the CEO, and we were doing protests against Paul Vallis at the Chicago Public Schools building because of the conditions of the schools that he allowed to occur while he was in office. And then also, Paul, we always, when we think about school closures, we always think about Arnie Duncan. But Paul Vallis started the school closures before the turnaround schools, firing everybody from the Rudy Tooty Tooty, from the principal down to the maintenance, you know, and destroying these ecosystems of safety nets inside of public schools. And in addition to that, everywhere that Paul Vallis has went, he has destroyed black people, black unions, and black families. That is his
throughout the
that is what
United
he's
States.
done.
That's right.
When he went to Philly, he did the same thing. When he went to New Orleans, he did the same thing. This is his legacy. And then let's not talk about all the stuff that he did when he was in Haiti. And to go to show you, it's like Google is free. All you have to do is Google him and see the things that he did, and even the quotes of the people that supported him. I believe it was former Secretary Arnie Duncan, Barack Obama's basketball buddy, who said that Paul Vallis was the best thing that happened to New Orleans public school system since Hurricane Katrina. What does that tell you? Because he goes in. The thing about Paul Vallis is about what? Paul Vallis is about white people and white people profits. He goes into a school system, he privatizes the school system, and then everybody owns a piece of the school system, and it takes any sort of right now we have local school council, or you have a PTA. Those charter schools don't have that. Those parents don't have no authority to say what goes on in that school. They don't have no say over the curriculum. They don't have no say over nothing. They have no authority in those schools because that's what he does.
Do you think he's going to keep his promise to the black sellouts? I mean, the black people who sided with him. Excuse my slip, Freudian.
It wasn't a slip.
Well, even you meant to say it, but I like to call them the black political prostitutes, aka the black political hoes. My thing is, has anybody ever heard of the Scorpion and the Frog? Paul Vallis is a prime example of the scorpion and the frog, where you think that just because he got this, he giving you out this money and saying, oh, we're going to get grant money and we're going to do this, Tyrone Muhammad, talking about, oh, well, now we got a seat at the table. You will never have a seat at the table with Paul Vallis. You are always on the menu. When you have somebody that is supported by the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, and we talk about, oh, why do we have all of these quick kill weapons in our community when we know that the data already shows, and Minister Mahim did a lecture on this, that a lot of this gun violence is occurring because people are intoxicated by alcohol. It's not gang violence. A lot of times the stats already show that if people are intoxicated by alcohol.
87%
we think
of
that
all
FOP
homicides.
Thank you. We think the Fraternal Order of Police don't know this. Fraternal Order of Police hates black people. So anybody, even if you were saying, oh, Brandon Johnson is, he just became a commissioner, but Brandon Johnson was out there protesting against what was going on in schools before he even became a Cook County commissioner when he was a teacher. That's why I said, it's like, the thing about this election that's just so annoying to me is that if boomers, yes, I'm blaming boomers, if boomers...
What's a boomer?
BBs. I'm being like
Baby
her.
boomers.
Baby
I'm
boomers.
a baby boomer. Wait a minute.
It doesn't matter.
Talking about us.
She can
That's
blame
me.
boomers.
Hey, that's me.
She can blame boomers if she wants to.
She gonna sit
I
here
can-
and hook us up, huh? She about to get it.
That doesn't mean
No,
much.
I'm
That's
talking
No,
about,
go ahead.
I'm talking about
What did we
data.
do?
I'm talking about the
Yeah,
numbers.
go ahead.
If boomers would not have supported Willie Wilson, knowing he wasn't going to win, if boomers had supported Roderick Sawyer, who was already a crappy alderman, people in his old ward didn't like him. So you voted for somebody who the people who already elected him wasn't even supporting him. And last time when he won the automatic election, he won by this much. In addition to Roderick Sawyer, Sophia King, all of these boomers who had all of these events, I'm going to vote for Willie Wilson, I'm going to vote for Roderick Sawyer. If they wouldn't have did that, the data already shows that, and let's not mention the boomers walking around with Lori Lightfoot shirts, Grady, sitting here with Lori Lightfoot shirts on. The thing about this political game is that they political game.
right.
They never
The whole
change,
game, the
but
whole
see,
game.
they never change their tactics. So if we know that
Absolutely.
they never change
Amen.
the tactics, and they do the same thing over and over again, what happened with the last election? Let's just think about this. When we had LaShawn Ford, a great candidate who had a great plan for
right.
black people,
That's
who
right.
had a great plan for returning citizens, for youth, for employment, everything. LaShawn Ford, he not new to this. He been true to this and supporting black people and black causes since before
Why
he
you
got
think
in
he didn't
office.
run this time?
I'm just trying to follow my train of thought, and then
Oh,
we can go to that.
All right.
Now, if we had this person who ran, and then we had Willie Wilson who ran, who already knew he wasn't going to win. He knew he was going to split the black vote, but he used it to what? Gain political leverage
Yep.
so that he can turn around and say, oh yeah, I didn't win, and I gave away all of this money, and so this is who I said you should support. What happened? He told us to support Lori Lightfoot. Did we not get enough for 4 years with Lori Lightfoot? Because all of these people went off of what he said and went around and later
There are
followed
some
up.
people that said Lori Lightfoot did okay, but we didn't give her a chance.
She had 4 years.
No, they said, like she could have did even better with the next 4.
Tell that to Antoinette. Tell that to, what's in the Antoinette Young. When the police raided her house when she was naked and wouldn't let her put her clothes on, and they raided the whole house, and Lori went on camera and lied and said she didn't know nothing about it, and then later on went
remember
back
that.
and retracted it. But she did a good job though. That they fired the council.
You got the receipts, huh?
I got receipts that they fired the legal counsel of the city to make him take the hit. When all along Lori Lightfoot even knew what was going on, and not just that. Even after they fired the legal counsel, when even Antoinette, her lawyer was even saying they didn't even want to settle her case.
That's right. I remember.
All kinfolk, what is it? All skinfolk ain't kinfolk.
Ain't kinfolk,
And
that's
Lori
right.
Lightfoot is the
Tell
prime
it.
example of that. And so when we sit here, once again, we got 2023 election. Willie Wilson runs again. He split the vote. Roderick won. He knew he was going to split the vote. He knew he wasn't going to win. Sophia knew. Come on now. Sophia knew. Data shows you was not going to win. So what did y'all do? All of y'all went in and y'all split the vote. Here come Willie Wilson again. oh yeah, I didn't win. I'm gonna give out these free gas cards. So this is who you guys should support. Paul Vallis. And once again, what boomers gonna do again? Oh yeah, we gonna support Paul Vallis. The same boomers that's been on the has-been train since 1983 when Harold Washington was elected, always telling us about, well, this is what Harold Washington did and this is what Harold Washington meant to the community. And you have an opportunity to shape a Harold Washington.
Again.
You have an
That's
opportunity
right.
to shape a Harold
That's right.
Washington. But what
That's
do? You listen to old washed out Willie Wilson, who I don't believe anybody saying anything about black people who 99.9% of their staff is Latino. So what does he know about the black community? And also, we never questioned, oh, Willie Wilson got all this money, but do the money Willie Wilson be giving away, do that be his money, or do it be money that people have given him who already know that he's going to split the black vote? Because if boomers did what they should have done and supported Brandon Johnson, we wouldn't be in a runoff right now. And that's what the data shows. And that's why I say boomers need to chill out.
What is Brandon? Is he a millennial? What? What you all
I
call
think
him?
Brandon is not a millennial. I believe he's a
He's
Generation X.
He's 40 something.
He's Generation X.
What is he? 47.
My son is going to be 47. Yeah.
So he's about 47.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Brandon is the generation before me. He's Generation X.
Okay, that's what that is, huh?
So no. Let me throw something on the table, and you all just chew this up and throw it around.
Yeah, we're gonna give it to her last.
right.
I'm sorry. I just had
Right,
to.
because she's real fervent. You know, all of that.
Now,
I don't even know whether I want to say anything else.
I've been seeing ballot signs. Now, I don't know if this is official ballot signs, but I've been seeing
Oh,
ballot
I know
signs
what you gonna
with
say.
MAGA on them.
With who?
MAGA.
MAGA 2024.
MAGA is Make America Great Again.
Trump.
And we know what that is, right?
Oh.
So now,
So
if-
is somebody putting them on there?
No,
Or those
this-
signs,
now,
I mean, they're one whole sign with that already
Yeah.
on there?
It's
I
on
could
there.
I could
I don't
answer,
think
then you
nobody's
can answer.
using a magic marker and
Right.
right.
No,
it was,
somebody bought it.
they bought those like that.
Okay.
They're making you think.
Okay.
So no, it's kind of it seems like he's trying to get your head in my camera. It's kind of like he's showing you who he is. You know, it's almost like with Satan. It's like Satan say, "You can't blame me. All I did was make it look good. I just gave a good presentation, and you accepted it." You know,
Well,
Well,
he's not
if
showing
I
you
want to
who he
be
is.
fair,
Those are somebody else put those. Those
That's
are not
what
his,
I was gonna
Those
say.
are not his official
and
campaign
being
signs.
fair, we ain't
That
trying to
say
take
MAGA
up for him,
2024.
but we ain't trying to take up for him. But
So people
the
can
truth
make
of the matter is,
No.
somebody
made some
else
signs.
did
No, but
that.
that.
what
know.
they're doing is they're getting you to think. They're saying MAGA 2024 because when you look at the supporters of Paul Vallis, he has all of these Republicans,
That's true.
including several members of the
That's
FOP who are very vocal for Paul Vallis. These are the same people who supported January 6th insurrection. These are the same people who are anti-black. These are the same people who are members of
That's
the
right.
NRA who want to own black people again.
That's
People
right.
Google it's
That's
free.
what they
You can
said.
Google what the president of the NRA said that when he said it won't be long before
Before
we
we
can
can
own
own black
black
people
people
again.
again.
That's
Like
right.
these are the supporters of Paul Vallis. And so I don't have anything against that sign because when you see that sign and you think, oh, all you got to do is people Google it's free. This stuff is not hidden. You literally put Paul Vallis in Chicago Public Schools or Paul Vallis in Haiti and all the receipts come
That's
up.
right.
So nobody has any excuse.
Tell it.
So okay, so now if somebody else created these signs, right? But now there's a definite link between Vallis, the Fraternal Order Police, and this white supremacy mentality that was introduced to the country with Donald Trump.
And
His
before him.
Make America Great Again
Yeah.
program that he ran on. So now, when Donald Trump ran for president, the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed him. Now here we are in a mayoral race, and the Fraternal Order of Police endorses Vallis. So now I have to ask the question: am I just making this up, or did the Fraternal Order Police show me who Vallis was by endorsing him?
Seems like it.
I would say yes. But at the same time, you know, the thing is that Trump exposed everything. He didn't want to hold nothing back. He was telling us, if we was listening, exactly what the mindset of his people were.
He was
And,
unapologetically
right,
racist.
and unapologetically so.
Racist.
So the thing is that when he got out of office, then all the black people went back to sleep. And so people like Vallis and all, they're not going to try to resurrect it, but they already been exposed, all of them. He did it. See, so
then,
you know,
how can we then look at these sellout Negroes?
Like Jamal Green sitting in Harold's eating chicken with Paul Vallis in the neighborhood.
and then, now, let's look at this. Now, what if Vallis doesn't win? These same Negroes will be black.
oh, they're gonna be
The day
they're gonna
after
be
election.
black activists again.
You see what I'm saying? They'll be black activists, but they was pro Paul Vallis. And why is it that we don't see that we keep supporting these Jamal Green?
Well, you
What
basically
was it?
saying it because a lot of those people believe that the only color is green.
Right.
And those people who think
Just like
like that
prostitutes.
ain't black or white. It's green. And if somebody probably washed their clothes or their pants and you pull the insides of their pocket out, it would be green.
Because that's what they're going for.
That's right. They line their pockets with green.
And then
It's about money.
So what black person in their right mind?
Right mind. Keep going.
Oh, so now that's why I guess
The mental
Brandon Johnson is pushing mental illness because we out our doggone mind.
We all our cotton picking mind.
Because
That's right.
I mean, it's really clear to me, and that's why I say I'm voting Brandon Johnson. I don't know the guy, but I know this dude. I know what he's gonna do. Just what you just said, Ebony. I know what he's.
Can I say something? And I think this need to be on there a little bit. And I think you might agree with me this time. If y'all looked at past Black View things,
What?
man,
We're
her
not
be
gonna
going
agree with
at
somebody.
it. But I think she's going to agree with this time. Now, I'm not into politics either. And
Amen.
I
I'm not
do
either.
support people, but I don't really too much vote for people at all.
So you did it before I could get you.
Well, I thought you was going to ask, and time is almost up. But anyway, but here's the thing. The reason I'm promoting and pushing Brandon, I know that politics can't save us because if it was, God ain't dumb. God would have made Moses Pharaoh. He was in line to be, but he told him, no, get away, and then come back and tell him to let our people go. So I know that ain't the way. But we've had an image, all right, being projected among us as a people of family. But family in this case was like, if you look at our last black mayor, he wasn't married at all. And then you got another mayor, I don't know what she was, and then now you got a black family to present to black people in the world for 4 years that we now can sit down and show our young children and all what God set as the standard, what God set as the standard. Ain't got nothing to do with you looking at me, but what he set as the standard. And so if he got in office, we would have that projection in office for us for 4 years. And I think image is important.
Yes.
It was like Obama.
And a picture is worth 1,000 words, they say.
Yeah.
Yes. And we need it again. We're suffering because we don't have this image as a people. And I believe that is why I'm praying that he get in office so that we now can have a standard to look at and show our children, this is what God wants. This is how God asked for it to be. This is what we want you to do, little Johnny. Get married and get a wife and you know, children. That's why I'm doing it. And that alone is my only reason that I am supporting Brandon. No, I don't want to support no Vallis. Talking about his family. I heard, and I could be wrong, I heard he had a black wife.
Who, Vallis?
Yes. I heard. I could be wrong. Google it and see.
It must
I
be
haven't
true.
heard
See,
that.
I heard that. See,
I heard his
now-
family lives in the suburbs and
But
how
I
that
don't know.
happened,
See,
that-
she gonna go straight Google. Now we gonna
There's
find
no
out.
excuse.
We gonna find out.
Us to be
Yeah.
like
See,
what we heard.
I had to throw that allegation
Yeah,
out so we
yeah.
could find out. And if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But I heard that. You know, black people don't need that image.
Definitely don't need that image.
See, I'm just being honest.
Okay, I'm not political, so that's my main thing for that. I didn't say who I was voting for.
Right.
My thing is this, what I feel, what I felt for years, that there's something in Chicago, y'all. There's some sort of gang or some kind of hidden something, politics that stops stuff in Chicago.
Call it political
Yeah,
machine.
Political machine, whatever it is. Let me see, somebody called it something elite, the Chicago elite or something like that. Anyway,
The Chicago elite.
so I feel that's here, that's been here forever.
Uh-huh.
And even if Brandon gets in,
He gonna be under
he
that.
gotta pay a price.
That's right.
I believe that. I mean,
agree.
And that's why I don't like it. That's why. That's why. And I know. I mean, and I vote, and you know, and I be feeling like, you know, sometimes I be feeling like I don't care what people think. I'm going to the poll, you know. But then I go, you know. But I remember. I was telling you I was looking for a lawyer.
So I'm wrong.
You told me to put it on
Okay.
Facebook.
Right.
And I put it on Facebook. I asked some people, and I didn't get any, never, nobody. I called my church, because I thought about, we have a big church, and so there got to be some attorneys in the church, you know. I mean, it's a well-known church, you know. No help from there. No, you know, and it just made me feel like, you know, where do we, you know, I try not to ever feel hopeless. But sometimes I be like, what we?
Hope is not all gone.
I
Have you heard of
I know I'm just passing through here. But while I'm here, man, sometimes I just throw up both my hands, you know, and
Throw up both my hands.
Hey,
Well,
yes.
he has a family that reflects him.
Also, he doesn't have a black
He
wife.
doesn't have a black wife.
I mean, I don't know if that's
And
his
so,
current wife, but as
well-
you can see, that is his.
Well,
face.
I'll accept this because I said it was an allegation. I didn't know. I heard.
Yes, I
But
heard that.
now again,
Well, we can put
Let's-
that to rest now.
yes,
It'll be just
even
like
if we
black
look
people.
at this though, that doesn't reflect us. You see, and he's going to be well to do for his people first. I admit he should.
But do you see
It's
the,
us that's crazy enough not to do
But
that.
do you see the propaganda?
know.
Our people are so mentally ill with the propaganda that you going around saying, "Oh, Whisper's Paul Vallis got a black wife, so he must be cool with black people." Because
Somebody
we're
sure said it. I
because
didn't.
We're
I
so
heard
mentally ill as a people that we can't even vote for our own self-interest. Like everybody else votes for their own self-interest. And there's a saying: if your house is on fire and you got one fire hydrant, are you gonna put out the fire that
At your
spread
house.
to your neighbor house, or are you gonna put out the fire at your own house first? And it's like none of this. People be like, "Oh, well, black people have selective memories." Black people don't have selective memories. Black people, sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Just
Sometimes
like
we
when
are.
you look
Most
at
times.
when you look at the response, like a Jamal Green, when he what is it when you don't win and you got to do your speech when you
Oh, your
concession when he
yeah.
did his concession speech. When he did his concession speech, all he had was envy and hate. Like, oh, I guess they're gonna be calling me. Like in his feelings, you already knew you weren't gonna win. And the fact that it's all of these people who be in the streets who talking about, oh, we for our people, oh, let's stop the violence, oh, let's do this. You are getting money from somebody who is getting money from people who benefit off of black death and black blood flowing in the streets with these quick kill weapons. FOP don't play around. These weapons aren't this isn't a Marvel movie. Weapons are not just mysteriously appearing in the
right.
alleys And in
That's
our
right.
communities, they're not. Black people don't have access to ports. Black people don't have access to borders. We don't have none of those access where we can be bringing in mass quantities of weapons. So once again, the question is, who benefits from Black death? Who benefits from gentrification and stealing our land and stealing our houses and stealing our schools and converting schools to condos, converting schools over for the next people that they got coming in, white folks.
Tell it.
This reverse white flight. Who
That's
benefits
right.
from that?
Let's look at the issues. There are
Oh yeah, the issues we ain't talking
there
about.
are issues. Public safety
Yes,
is an issue.
yes, it
that
is.
both candidates
Push.
are pushing and running for, and they have their own solution to public
Yes,
safety.
yes.
I believe Paul Vallis's solution to public safety is keeping the schools open 7 days a week.
Yes, and hiring more police.
That's his
And-
safety.
No.
Yep.
He said keep them open so they won't be on the street.
They won't be in the street.
And
So
then,
it's all kids that's doing the crime?
but that's one of them. The other part was hire more police and get the retired police to come back and put,
That's
get
demolition
some of
man,
them.
you know that.
Right, yeah.
The old mentality police.
Yeah, that's what he want to do.
What they say, serve and protect, break a
Hire-
Negro neck.
Hire the John Burge officers back.
Yeah, all of them racist ones to come back to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would suggest, and I'm not speaking for neither one, but I would suggest that you would relieve some of those police officers that are sitting behind the desk and hire regular citizens who have degrees in office administrative clerical work and things like that, and put them on the street.
Put those
First,
police officers
first, I think in your first year, that's what you should be working on. Then after you lay that out and you got all of those people off the desk duty, now the following year, then you should open it up for new people to come in and be police officers and things like that, and then they'll have a chance to be trained and all, and then bring them on in. But you don't just jump out there and try to do it all at one time. But you got a lot of them that's doing desk duty.
Well, Brandon Johnson says he wants to hire 200 detectives.
Detectives, yeah. You want to hire 200 detectives, but you
To
can't.
train
You
or
don't
something
see. You don't come
like
in
that.
as detectives. You come in as a regular officer, and then you move on. They
But
move
he
you
said-
into
he said
that
specifically
level.
to hire detectives, so that
Right.
must mean he's gonna get detectives from somewhere, not.
They have detective service, but they're not necessarily police officers.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
then it's
what his I guess his reasoning is that you need detectives in order to solve crimes.
Yeah.
Because we've been complaining about there's a lot of crime and there ain't a lot of solving going on.
That's right.
There's a lot of unsolved
Absolutely.
crime.
Unless it's involving a police officer.
Yeah, and then they solve it in 24 hours.
Yeah,
I
look,
almost, look,
everybody go
look,
down.
one day,
Yes.
this is the truth. One day I heard helicopters outside and all. I was just getting ready to go walk to the store. I had on all black, right? And then I heard the news come on and they say, we looking for, they shot the police and they said he's wearing all black. I turned right back around
How did we know you were going?
and went right, this is true though, and went back in the house. I say, I am not gonna be that person. Because they didn't care who you was that day. They was going to throw you down, beat you down, and you ain't going to look like you look when they take the picture of you. We got them.
But I wanted to go back to what you said about training and officers. The thing about the
Sensitivity
situation with
training.
officers,
Yeah.
the thing about sensitivity training or anti-racist training, none of that matters. And it doesn't matter because just like with any other field of government, you have these people who don't believe that our lives matter at all. They don't even see us as human. So all the training in the world isn't going to magically make somebody see us as human and to deal with our children the way they deal with white children. Because
Okay,
white
so what
children,
would you
let me
do?
finish, because white children are always innocent. And so what I would do is we have an organization called the Original Men in Black, who has a track record with actually doing hospitality patrol, and this predates all of the violence interrupters. This predates those organizations.
That's right.
Been around since the 90s, actually
right.
going out and talking to people, seeing what's going on. See, because the thing is, Black people are on the economic bottom in this country. Anytime you have high levels of mass poverty combined with high levels of quick kill weapons, it's a war waiting to happen. And until we deal with the issues of, okay, if we know that the data shows that a lot of these gun crimes are committed under the influence, why every time we throw a rock, it's a wine and spirits, or it's a liquor
Everywhere.
and food, not even
Food
liquor
and
and food,
liquor.
because it don't even have food no more. If we know that these crimes are being committed this way, then why are we saying, hey, okay, we know watch patrols work. We know hospitality patrols work. So let's look at the city and what we tried to do with the We Care Patrol. Let's say, hey, these are the areas and times where this is the most violence. We have this organization who already has good relationships with the people in the community. Let's use these people to go in and interrupt some violence, because the data shows that violence interruption works.
Yep.
It's a winning strategy. It works all day long.
So
And
people are doing that now?
Yes.
That's happening now, and we still have.
It's not enough
It's
of
not
them
enough.
doing it.
It's not.
Yeah.
So you're saying that whoever gets in should entertain that?
Just like when you came, just like how when local school councils were introduced to Chicago public school system, and now every school has a local school council, there should also be something like an original Men in Black or a watch patrol, where it's just like they have the little safety, not little, I'm sorry, the safety people who are at, who are at school.
On the corners
Not
and all
crossing
that.
guards.
Safe back.
There's
On the
the
corner,
safe
safe
passage.
passage, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just like when you have things like that, like when you actually go out in the community and talk to people, and then you're able to see what's going on and build relationships for people, you're able to interrupt the violence. You're not able to stop it all, but when you have these issues of people being intoxicated and then people be fighting and then it's domestic situations, you can interrupt that and then that will decrease violence. This isn't a hypothetical or a feeling. This is what the data shows
Data
in the
shows
inner
it
cities
works.
of America. You know what I'm saying? And so if we know that works, then why are we always talking about, I'm for defunding the police, because some of the money that goes for the police
Amen.
should go for these watch patrols. Just like we got a 3rd district and we got all these other people, all of these districts, every district should have a funded watch patrol that's community people, that's their 40-hour-a-week job, that the city pays them, that all they do is go out, go to the schools, be in the street, and then that way when people have issues, my son is doing this and I want to make sure he don't get in trouble, that they have somebody that they trust that they can call, because we know what happens when we call people. We just talked about mental health. We know what happens when we call the police when our people are having mental health issues. They don't see us as human, they see us as animals.
Amazing.
And there's too many examples of them killing us when we are unarmed and in an emergency situation, because they don't view us as human beings. So why won't we do that? That's a prime example of a winning strategy.
That's another example.
Well,
So we got
let me
two.
play devil's advocate.
We got
here.
two.
Let me play devil's
Go ahead.
advocate. Now, there has been coup gobs of grants that have been issued out to organizations, community-based organizations, for public safety.
Yeah, this
For
year.
Public safety?
Yes.
Yeah, this year.
Yes.
This last year, rather, because this year just started.
And
A flood of them.
crime has
Did not go
gone
down.
It's going up, right? So, even though, based on the statistics that you just mentioned, how can you really justify giving this money? I mean, or the money you take from the police or whatever, and giving it to these organizations again, when they've already shown you that all they do is they take the money and they pad their pockets and they go out and they give out a mask. This is what you do, or a bag of chips to some people, and just go around and
Things we
do
just do.
little stuff,
So-
for
Can I
quality
say a
public
little
safety.
bit?
can.
Just a little.
Yeah,
Because
I
you
mean,
gonna,
How
we
can
gonna
we
talk longer
justify
than
he
this?
was just
I'd like to say one little thing, because you're
Go
gonna
ahead.
go further, I'm sure. But that was the difference in what she said and what you described. You got people out there just patrolling and walking and looking and just making sure they make the best of their hours out there. She mentioned a different kind of patrol. She said hospitality. Hospitality patrol, you don't have enough of those people being hospitable when they're out there, that are truly concerned about that bum or that homeless person or this person trying to get their groceries into their car or get groceries into their house and things like that, and helping the people back, like during the time when they going into the currency exchange to go get their check. You watching and then helping them get back in their cars and stuff.
Trained.
What happens when you do that and the community get used to you, you gain the trust of the people in the community, and they begin to share with you what's going on in their community. Now, if you take all of those other groups you name, all right, they may start out like that, but now do a test among the people, and they'll say, when we first came into these different communities, they say, oh, here they come again. Y'all gonna be just like the other group? How? Why? What? Because the other group fit the description you said. But then but when they found out that the OMIB wasn't like that, they began to let their guards down. Matter of fact, I even watched on certain blocks where people saw the OMIB and the women would come out and say, "Can I get my hug?" Because we were a hugging group of people.
So is that
People.
still, you guys still out
You
there?
see? Oh yeah, but it's not enough
Does
of
that
us.
grow?
It's not enough
Does it
of
ever
us.
grow? Does
You
it
know
ever
why?
get bigger?
Well, it gets big and then it gets small. It gets
Why do
big.
you think that is?
Oh, it's because there was a movie called "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker" that came out, and in that movie, it was the activist guy who he sent his group out into the community, and then he sent them downtown one day to protest, and somebody asked him, well, what happened? Say, oh, they got jobs.
Oh, they
See,
was hiring on that day.
it was hiring that day. And so the thing is that when you get a grant and it's a group like what we talking about is out there, they don't allow you to do certain things because you would jeopardize the grant. So
you think they can't-
So
they
you
can't-
don't want to cross the. You know how it is right now. You can't hug nobody now unless they say you some molester. And now you messing up the grant. You better not shake hands and hold their hand too long. But there's people out there who that's all they looking for was a hug. But now you can't hardly do that. So
All they look-
you know.
But I think it's a little more than that because you got
I'm
these
just
because
using that term.
Well,
That's just one
because you
thing.
got young people that you can't even make them work. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The
jobs are
It's
available
like
and they won't
we
take
have a concept. I think what Ebony and what I'm hearing here is that there's a concept that works, but we can't seem to find the bodies to put into the
That truly care about our
in the program to work it. You know what I mean?
Well-
and then even if you do you got these organizations that get these grants, they're not working the program we talking about. They're working to just walk out there, be careful, to make sure you don't say nothing, don't look nobody in the eye. You know, they walking, they're doing that. Yes, ma'am.
They do that. Remember that one time we had a talk, and I said that the churches, when the COVID closed the churches, what did I say? That the people should have came outside, and they should have stood on corners, and they should have got up on Sunday morning. Not everybody had to come. I still believe that. I still believe that's needed, even though the church is open. I think sometimes people need to come outside, sing a song, let a choir come and sing a song. You don't know whose window is open, who needs to hear that. I just think that something is happening where we just get the monies and we get the accolades and then we do this.
So do you think that that our concerns would be heard by Brandon Johnson administration?
I'm praying
No.
that. I'm praying that.
I do.
Okay, why?
Because it's not about having faith. Because no, it's not about having faith. It's because you guys were not familiar even with him, how he talked to the people when he ran for commissioner, right? Because you guys weren't familiar with that campaign. But because since I come from a union background and I was a member of SCIU and I work for Grassroots Collaborative, I was able to work directly with Brandon Johnson when we were working. We had a violence prevention bill and certain things, and we were going back and forth to Springfield and talking to state elected officials like a LaShawn Ford or a Senator Matty Hunter, who are for black people all day long. And so it's like, that's why I said about the thing about Google is free. Like if you want to know what the things that Brandon Johnson has done, even before he was elected, there's this thing called Google, and then there's this thing called YouTube, where you can Google Brandon Johnson and CTU and see the things that he talked about even before he ever ran for office. And when he was out in the street for all the stuff that was going on, especially under Chicago Public School and the way Chicago Public School treats black children. And so in addition to that, I've seen too many times, like right now, there was an event that the State Street Food Co-op is having, that Brandon Johnson came out to talk about economics and the need for more black grocery stores in the city of Chicago. See, this is my, yes, this is happening at the same time that this is happening. See, this is my thing about black people. We will say, well, oh, I don't know what he gonna do, or oh, I don't know this. Who knew what? How did you get Harold Washington elected? How did y'all make the decision to bring Harold Washington in and put y'all voting power behind Harold Washington? How did y'all?
We didn't know him.
Some people didn't know then. They still did.
But
that's going to always be a reality.
But
I don't care how much Google is out there. There's going to always be a reality that some people don't know. Yeah, they should be able to Google. There's going to be some people who never use Google. There's going to be some people.
What can I?
I mean, we were all interjecting here. So
well, actually, I was actually didn't get a chance to even finish my public safety comment, because then it went to you, because you was like, oh, let me go first.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say here is, if you, just like how LaShawn Ford was when he ran, LaShawn Ford actually met with the community to see what did the community wanted to do. Brandon Johnson is doing the same thing. I have a friend who actually, Danita Robinson, who lives in North Lawndale in the community that we're in, who have had conversations with Brandon Johnson about what she expects for North Lawndale as a community. We always sit and we talk about, oh, if we're going to practice a race first mentality, you get to mold somebody into that position. All of these black union people from SEIU and CTU that are supporting Brandon Johnson, they live in these same communities where this violence is happening, where we need these hospitality patrols. And so we can't keep coming up with excuses about, well, nobody is, you're not going to agree with nobody 100% all the time. I'm that hard LaShawn Ford, and I don't agree with stuff that he say 50% of the time. Sometimes I don't agree with what he say, but I still voted for him as mayor in the city of the city of Chicago, because he was the best person to serve the self-interest of black people. Brandon Johnson is the best person to serve the self-interest of black people. And then the thing that you said about the grants that I was trying to...
We're going to take a breath after this one.
Okay, then the thing, well, because then the thing that you said about the grants, when you look at who got these grants, it's the same organizations that we already know that don't do nothing. We talk about grants. They got grants for after school programs. Don't do nothing. What did the kid do? They got grants to hire youth. What did the youth learn? Nothing. Just like you said, they get the money, they sit there, they don't do nothing, they collect their check. Don't talk to them about violence. Don't talk to them about anything going on in the community. Just let them sit there and do what they want to do.
Can I respond to why I said no?
Go ahead.
Now, I agree with everything.
We got about 5 minutes, so everybody kind of wrap it up.
Everything you said. But the only reason I said no was because of history. Unless he get some real life security around him, every one of us from Harold on, when we get ready to do something that's truly going to work for black people, they take you out.
Yes.
And that's why I said no, not because of him or anything about bad. And he may want to reach out and do it. But the more what he do for us works and succeeds, the more dangerous he is.
And that's why I talked about the
people,
the Chicago elite.
So we need to try to bring him and cover him if he was to do this for us, because history shows what they do to us.
Yes.
We do something that's going to help us for real.
Definitely.
That's the only reason. I was not disagreeing with nothing that you said about him and what his ability to do and all. I agree. But I just don't want us to forget that we can't repeat the mistakes of the past. We got to figure out something verbally or whatever to surround him
Can't be verbally.
with something, some sort of security. Pray hard. I don't know what it's going to be, but that's going to have to happen because it just going to repeat itself.
Okay.
So
we got 3 minutes.
That's all I want.
So I want everybody to just in a minute give your closing remarks. My closing remarks is I'm voting for Brandon Johnson because I will not have a Vallis mentality in the fifth floor in the city of Chicago. I can't have it. So I'm voting for Brandon Johnson. And if anybody else don't want to vote for Brandon Johnson, then what you're telling me is that you are not black.
And
And you know what? And some people might say, "Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong." No, a minute is longer.
Well, Biden said if you not black if you don't vote for him, and look at all the black people voted for him.
This is what I'm saying. Some people gonna say that's wrong, but what I'm saying is that if you don't vote for Brandon Johnson, especially after all the information you just got today, if you don't vote for Brandon Johnson, you are telling me that you are giving up your black card. You giving it up. Because if he wins, I don't want to see you on no black show talking about that was my man and putting his picture on your wall. Because we're gonna send them goons after y'all. Yeah, I see it.
check for my minute now.
Okay. Your minute.
Yes,
Okay.
my minute. I will support him because for 30-something years, I have always supported and practiced a race-first philosophy. So if he don't win, I'll just wait for the next opportunity to support a race-first philosophy. I just question those black brothers and sisters who voted for Vallis to be able to be as free as I am, when Vallis, or if Vallis was to lose. See, I can still wait on the next black candidate for office, black male, black female, because I support a race-first philosophy. And so I support Brandon Johnson.
Beautiful, Brenda.
Well, I've heard a whole lot of things here that I didn't know about when I first came, and I mean, I was probably gonna vote for Brandon Johnson just because he was black. But I will research some more things. But I do say that whatever people do, I'm one of those. You do your thing. I'm gonna do mine. I'm not gonna be mad at you because I'm not gonna talk to my sister because that's what they want us to do too. They want us to be divided all the time. When they had COVID, you didn't get a shot. Talk about you.
That's division.
Division. So I'm never gonna talk about my people. I'm not gonna be against my people for what they do.
Amen.
Right. Okay,
Amen.
Ebony.
Don't you be gonna agree
1
with
minute.
something.
Yeah, I was scared.
1 minute. Okay, I'm gonna go real quick. Roderick Sawyer, Michelle Harris, Anthony Beale, David Moore. I think Derek Curtis is black. Walter Burnett Jr. Now, I want to talk about these people right here that I just mentioned. These are all supposed to be our people, our black elected officials who's supposed to be doing things in the best interest of black people, but yet they're supporting Paul Vallis. We already see Jesse White, Roderick Sawyer, Jamal Green, all of these political prostitutes who out here who are only thinking about themselves. And what I want to say is, even if Brandon Johnson doesn't win, or even if Paul Vallis gets in office, I'm so glad that God put this in front of us, because just like Trump, when Trump came out and white people showed us truly who they are, I'm glad that that Paul Vallis got on the ballot so that these black political prostitutes can show us who they are. So when we talk about doing real things in the community, we need to hold them accountable, and they shouldn't be at the table, because if they got a red, black, and green flag up in their house, they need to burn it. And that's what I'm going to end with.
From black people's point of view.
This is the black view.
There you go.
You see, and the black. These are our opinions. I'm channeling Sherry Soul now. This is not the opinion of all black people. This is our opinion. This is our black view, and this is why we come on and we produce this show, because we want to get this view out there. Because so many of the other channels, they squash this kind of view. So we thank you all for listening, and we hope you all come back again. Be looking for us to come back again with more topics, even after the election. We're gonna have another show. If Brandon won, we're gonna talk about what we think Brandon should be doing. Because there's a lot of stuff that we need to cover. To help the city get better. If Vallis wins, we're gonna try to find out where all the fallout shelters gonna be. We're going to give y'all the information. But we thank y'all for listening.
Can the next title of the show be, I Told You?
I told you so.
Or it could be the fallout from black political prostitution.
Right.
But that's just me. Black power.
Hey, we're the Black View. We see y'all again. Stay on the black side. Peace.